Thank you to our sponsors for today's video, Amber, StarCharge, Eaton, and InfyPower. Today's video is sponsored by Amber, providing modern protection plans for your Tesla's battery and more, without the hassle of long-term contracts or upfront payments. Check out the link in the description to explore their plan options and use code SPEC5 for a 5% discount on all plans. This video is also brought to you by StarCharge, the largest EV charging manufacturer in the world, and is also a provider of residential and commercial battery storage with microgrid solutions. And Eaton. Eaton is a one-stop shop for implementing reliable and innovative EV charging infrastructure at your site. Across all applications, Eaton's EV charging infrastructure, hardware, and software gives you the scalability, flexibility, and intelligence you need to charge today and scale up tomorrow. Learn more at eaton.com/EVCI. And InfyPower, the largest EV charger module provider with over 3 million power modules running reliably worldwide. Their latest G2 collection features ultra-high power density and efficiency for EV charging and energy storage integration. InfyPower, innovation for your power.
Hello and welcome back to an Out of Spec Reviews video. This is another Hogback challenge here at the Hogbacks. I mean, this is the Hogback area, the entrance to I-70, which is one of the most treacherous sections of highway in the United States of America. That's actually why we do our testing here. Some systems, like the Lucid, are pre-mapped, limited to pre-mapped highways. This is a pre-mapped section, so that's why we take every car we can to see how the driver's assistance does going up a bunch of curves, a bunch of elevation, just a really challenging section of road to see just how capable the system is. So this is our 2025 Lucid Air Grand Touring. I say our, it's actually Lucid's, and we have a huge thanks to Lucid for letting us use this because we've used it extensively. It's about to hit 15,000 miles of driving, which is crazy. But Lacey joins me behind the camera, and we are about to take it up into the mountains to see how competitive and competent is the Dream Drive Pro system. Now, Lucid has Dream Drive Premium, which is basically just adaptive cruise control with some blind spot monitoring, some camera situations. But there's also Dream Drive Pro if you want to opt for the full suite of driver's assistance. The Now suite, but also the Future Current suite. They've promised future updates. That's literally a component of Dream Drive Pro, and that gives you a lot of future-proof hardware. I actually like Lucid's hardware approach. I, maybe hot take, disagree with Tesla's vision-only assistance because I just think redundancy with sensors is nice. There's a lot of moments when I've caught my Tesla, and I've seen other Teslas do some weird, stupid phantom braking thing because of a weird vision flash from the sun glare or something like that, when another sensor in redundancy would have noticed there's nothing actually there. That's just maybe a unique case. But Lacey, if you want to come in here, I'll show you guys. There's ultrasonic sensors around the car. There's actually LiDAR right here. This is one of the few cars that has LiDAR. I don't even know if that's actually fully enabled at this point because I've had some issues with the Dream Drive Pro system. I've taken this car on extensive thousands of miles of road trips using its ADAS, but it has, to their credit, gotten better over the years with updates. So when we first got this car, it was okay at like lane centered on pre-mapped highways. But then like in really treacherous corners, not even treacherous, just like normal highway turns that have a little bit stronger radius than you would normally expect, like this road, it struggled. But then it got an update and it got better. It also got an update that allowed automatic lane changes. Like, it's getting better with time, which is really cool. So there's also cameras on top, of course. Cameras are on the sides. There's 360-degree cameras, which are pretty cool on the screens inside the car. So we're gonna walk in the car really quick, check out the settings, and then we'll talk you through the scoring, and then we'll take it up in the last little bit of daylight here and see just how well the Lucid Air does. I'm hoping for the best. I genuinely love this car. I got into it not really knowing what to expect, other than a disappointing experience at a Lucid dealership, but this car has made me pretty much fall in love with Lucid as a company, as a brand, in a lot of ways. There are shortcomings in some ways. They're a young company. They are trying to figure it out. They are figuring out a lot of things, and I can't wait to test Lucid Gravity, which we will be doing soon, by the way. So we are now sitting in the Lucid. Hi, Lacey.
Hello.
We are going to walk through the scoring criteria really quick here because we do need to get on the road. But do we have a capacitive wheel? No. This is unfortunately a torque sensing wheel, but it's actually really good torque, so I did award a point later down. Is there driver safety eye tracking? Yes, the Lucid does detect your eyes looking forward with the front-facing camera. And what else do we have? We have hands-free eye tracking. No, there's no hands-free driving because of the camera, which is a bit of a bummer, but like maybe they could add that later. And then the gauge cluster does now show cars around. It did not when I first picked up the car, but it does now. Now, there's also lane centering on only pre-mapped highways. -5 points for that because that is really disappointing, really frustrating. And we'll talk about that more on the drive. And then automatic functions, it does automatically lane change if you initiate. We do not give it extra points without user input. There's no speed limit offsets, automatic adaptation, and there's no adaptive system aggressiveness, so no other points awarded in the automatic functions. You can look at the settings here, there, Dream Drive. That's where all these settings are. You guys can definitely look through all these if you want. I'm not going to walk through all of them because, I mean, you can pause the video and look at it. I will say, interesting feature, curb rash alert. The car will stop you from hitting the curb, I guess. Ooh. Cool. Care for your wheels. Drew would love that. Oh. Collision protection. Yeah, all the typical driver stuff. And but there is no lane. There's also no speed limit adaptation. It does like show you the speed limits, but it doesn't automatically update it. But it can prompt you to then accept the new limit, which is nice. So I guess, and that's where the driver camera button is there. I'm going to leave that off for now. Actually, I'll turn it on just to see how it is, if it's annoying or cool or not. But fairly basic overall settings, not too bad. But we are now going to talk through the rest of the scoring. So you can see here, during the drive, we're having a section where we will take points away if I take over, if it disengages, etc. And we can also add special points, such as, I said, really good sensitivity on the steering torque. But then it nags you way too much. So we'll talk about that more in the drive. There's also a section for if the driver becomes unresponsive, which we can go test as well. So we did try to do the driver unresponsive test with the Lucid, but unfortunately it was simply not possible. Of course, its lane centering is limited again to pre-mapped highways, which is a bummer and makes this challenging to do. So the only way to test it is in the middle of the night on a less busy highway. We tried to do that. And we thought we had a good enough gap, but someone did come up behind us very quickly. So we started seeing the car do some brake pulsing and it turned on the emergency flashers, but it only got down to about 60 miles an hour before we had to take over for safety. So we were going to try to test again. When we tried to test again, the car would not go back into lane centering or highway assist at all. So we were like, okay, we'll go turn the car off, everyone get out, lock it, turn it back on again. Still would not let us go back into lane assist, highway assist. Then we tried to do a charging session to think like maybe that would do a restart on the car and set a new driving segment, which would maybe then allow you to get back on highway assist. Even that did not do it. So literally the car prevented us from getting back into highway assist at all. So we still don't know. What we do know is the hazard lights came on and the brakes did pulse. So we'll award points for that, but unfortunately we cannot give any more points at this moment because we could not test a full driver unresponsive car coming to a stop situation. We assume it does, but we just can't verify. I reached out to Lucid to ask what happens, put me in touch with one of your engineers who designed the system. They have not yet replied or responded. So yeah, we're stuck with what we know. If Lucid does get back to us, we will update the scoring sheet and give it more points, but as it stands, it will not get the full points, which will probably net in even worse score. All right, we are heading out onto the highway. I love driving this car, honestly, and you drove it down here.
Yeah, it's a nice car. It's really nice.
So I've got the driver assist, Dream Drive is turned on now, and we're trying to get up to 65 right about the time we get on the highway. Let's see if we can get this turned on. Press the button, it says override, highway assist available, long press to activate. There we go, it's activated, it is on, the system is on. So, I'm gonna let it do its thing. and we'll see what happens. New speed limit is detected. It's prompting me if I want to take it. I am not. Wow, it's really...
It's like right on the rumble strips.
Yeah, the rumble strips are like, construction's been a thing on this road, but hey, it actually jumped on the system pretty quickly. We've seen cars take a while to do it back there. So we were not able to test the place where we usually test cars to see what happens if a driver is unresponsive. Going for an automatic lane change, nice. It slowed down, it saw this truck, but then it did the lane change. And the lane changes are actually pretty good. They're very aggressive, I'd say. It really jumps into the next lane, which I like. Some cars with automatic lane changes are very, very lazy about it, and it just takes forever, or they make you like hold onto the wheel the whole time, in which case, like, why am I not just doing my own lane change? Kia, I'm looking at you.
Ooh, called out.
Called out.
I feel like it depends on the situation sometimes. Sometimes a little more aggressive.
Yeah. So I will say Lucid adding that is pretty cool. They added that after I did my road trip films, but I've still been able to test it afterwards. And it honestly is pretty good. It just doesn't always activate. And we've seen that with even our I-90 Surge. Sometimes those guys did not have the lane changing available. Sometimes they did. So it's just a little finicky still. Like, it just feels like an early implementation of automatic lane change. But we're gonna try to do it now. We're in a turn, mid-lane change. Honestly, pretty good. Oh, okay.
Oh, that was a little aggressive.
-1 right there. It just like went into the lane, then back over. So what you do is scroll down and you just put a 1 right there.
Just a 1 or a -1?
Just a 1. Yep.
Oh, well, it's not offline. It's not.
Oh, connect to my join. Let's see if that works.
Technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties. All good. Well, we know it's -1 so far. And we can always just have the editor tally them up afterwards if we need to. But honestly, so far, not too bad. This system, I want to say it wants to be competent. Okay, we have a truck coming here. I'm going to try to do a lane change. Lane change initiated. It's not doing it. It's not doing. Now it's going for it, and it's not committing. And now it's going. Okay. It says take control now. It really yells at you.
Jeez. It's kind of scary.
So that was a very, very lazy lane change. Whereas when I was just praising it about being really good.
Yeah, no, that one was good. And then it was like, oh, you can't speak well about me. And then it's like,
yeah.
And then that one was also kind of sus.
So go into the Wi-Fi network button, 2 over to the left. Yeah, and then do sheaf. Yeah, do that one. That should be a better connection.
Sheaf Keith.
So, it keeps prompting me to keep my hands on the wheel. So earlier I mentioned I gave it a point for just a really nice, like, torque sensing wheel. I've given Tesla a lot of crap. And actually, people think I'm a Tesla shill. They think I love Tesla. They're great in so many ways, and they deserve a lot of praise in so many ways. But if you don't have the hands-free FSD, and you're required to put torque on the wheel, Tesla's required too much torque. I genuinely think that. Lucid requires just the right amount, where just lightly resting your hand on the wheel is enough. That's enough to where I almost thought it was capacitive for the longest time. Now hop back over to the right lane. Lane change initiated. It's doing it. Awesome. Genuinely really good. But yeah, it also nags you just too much though. So I gave it a point for really good sensitivity, but then I took away a point because it just nags you way more than I think it should, honestly. Especially with the driver's eye tracking, which we have now enabled, it still is definitely nagging you too much. Now it's saying highway assist unavailable.
Okay.
So we deducted points in the very beginning. Now it says highway assist available because I have a huge issue. There we go, unavailable again. I have a huge issue with this because the pre-mapped situation. If this car has all this tech, why is it, there we go, it's available again. Jumping back on adaptive. Nope.
This isn't even like a bad part of the highway.
No, and that's the issue. It's when it's pre-mapped, you're just so limited. Come on, give me adaptive. Give me highway assist back. There we go. Highway assist available. Long press to activate, and it's gone. So we'll try to get it turned back on here, but Yeah, the pre-mapped thing really disappoints me. Like, I find it crazy, it still won't reactivate. That are VinFast, which I have a lot of issues with as a car. It's literally not going into highway assist. Okay, Restart the system.
Did you brake?
I turned the system off.
Oh, okay.
Now it says override. Long press to activate. Come on. This keeps interrupting my rant about pre-mapped highways.
Available
Long press
again.
there we go. We're finally back on it. After highway assist unavailable.
Wait, oh yeah, what? Like,
so that's like 4 times in a row. So yeah, I guess let me try to finish my thought because I keep getting distracted by this stupid system. Having all this tech that you brag about in Dream Drive Pro, highway assist unavailable 5 times in a row. It was activated. It was lane centering for a second and then it went off again. Having all this fancy tech and you keep promising future updates to make it better and better, but you still limit it to pre-mapped highways, absolutely drives me nuts. There's so many highways that are just not pre-mapped, or like this case where it is a clear, obvious highway and it's just not pre-mapped, or it was pre-mapped and then construction caused a lane shift by like half a lane. Still very clear lanes. And most every other system actually uses the lane, like they're reading the environment in real time to make adjustments and actually do the lane centering.
I also kind of want to add, like, this keeps glitching down here.
Yeah, the screen does keep glitching.
Why?
The
Like,
lower
that's
screen.
like
I don't really know.
distracting.
We can close. Oh, because it keeps telling.
Lane change assist feature.
Oh.
Feature unavailable. It keeps like changing.
Wow. So the lower screen is like
glitching.
Yeah. Because it keeps like thinking we can use it. Oh, highway assist available. Come on, give me it. No, we were so close. Okay. That's. I mean, this is like a good chunk of the test that we are literally not able to do right now. And it's such a bummer. Like, this is so frustrating because I do think the system is actually really quite good. And I've seen it improve with updates already. But it's just like we haven't gotten that big update.
Wait, why do you think it's good if it's clearly not?
Well, when it's working. Sorry, I should have specified. When
it usually doesn't do this.
Well, on long highways
Okay.
that are pre-mapped, it's fine.
Okay.
And this highway is pre-mapped, but also with construction, any slight change might throw the car off. And so we still don't have it. And that was an issue with my road trips as well. I enjoyed using the system while it worked, and while it did work, I found it to be really a pretty competent system. Even in low light at night, like, there's a lot of impressive things about it. I love the screen, I love the display, I love how the system works for the most part. I will say the toggle wheel to adjust your speed limit by 5 increments of 5 is almost worthless. I hope Lucid changes the timing on that, because you press and hold it, by the time the screen changes 5 and you let go, it's already to the next 5. I don't know if that makes sense, but...
Yeah, no, I hadn't tried that though, but I understand.
Yeah. Still trying to get the system back on. Highway assist available, long press to activate, and it's gone. Okay, turn it off, turn it back on, adaptive cruise, highway assist, are we on? Yes, we're back. Okay, let's get back up to speed. It's really delicate to get it onto the, oh, see, I missed it. I missed 65, went straight to 70. There we go. Okay, we're back on, folks. Let's go. We still haven't gotten to the hardest section, so I still feel like this is, it's still going to be a good gauge on the system itself, so this is not worth like throwing away the video. But like, that is pretty eye-opening as to how much driving we just did there manually while we're waiting for the car to find pre-mapped, and it kept finding like little segments of pre-mapped, like 20 feet segments where it told me I could do it, and then by the time I tried to enable the system, it was gone. So
wait, I have a question. How does it connect to like the pre-mapped routes? Is it like it's not downloaded in the car, like it has to have connection to something?
No, so it's basically, I think, pre-mapped through the car, and so it shouldn't be a cellular connection thing. It's like loaded within the GPS maps of the car.
Okay, GPS.
So, and this is, it's not a Lucid unique thing. Notably, Ford, you can't do the full Blue Cruise suite unless you're on a pre-mapped highway. Same with GM Super Cruise. Rivian, notably, has a great system when it's working, but also limited to pre-mapped. I mean, yeah, I don't want to exclusively harp on Lucid. Rivian, if you're watching, you have such good hardware and good vehicles overall. It's just like so frustrating that like autopilot on Tesla lets me do it anywhere. So I wish we'd see that here. I'm also watching to see how accurate the speed limit detection is, and we just saw a 45-mile-an-hour speed limit sign. Lucid did not detect that, so it still says 55. So I guess I'll manually lower the speed. We don't actually lower down to 45 on this test because everyone's going like 70. So we would literally just like be run over. But see, the system's on right now, and we are having no issues. It is really quite good.
Another 45 speed limit sign. Yeah.
Let's see if it catches this one. Yeah. But the last one, I mean, there was no. We're not being blinded by the sun. Like, systems are perfect. This time it detected it. And it's prompting me if I want to adapt to it, which I could press yes, but I'm not going to. That's a cool feature. And it's, you know, all the graphics are very cool. Lucid's UI is brilliant. Like, it looks fantastic. UX is pretty good, user experience, because it's mostly easy to use. I just wish they'd give you a few more settings and stuff, such as like setting your state of charge upon arrival for chargers and the route planning and stuff like that. But so far, while the system's on, genuinely great. But the whole, a little bit of wavering there, and it just really always prompts you to keep your hands on the wheel, which I mean, that is annoying. That's why I deducted a point, but it's like, I also understand it, and it doesn't annoy me too much because the feedback needed to actually use the wheel is not too much. It's just the perfect amount of torque. Now the lane is merging. We'll see how it does handling this. Oh, I think we crossed the line there.
We did.
So minus. Whoa. It's still the system's still on. Okay, minus.
We're getting dangerously close to the edge there.
So put a five there total. We just went across 4 different lines, but the system never shut off, which is really interesting. I would have expected it to like
scary, though.
Give up.
Yeah.
And I was ready to take over, but the system was like persistent, and I've noticed that a few times when I've been driving this car. It's like there's been times where it's occasionally tried to take an exit, but then corrected itself and just like overcorrected itself, but never put in so much steering that you like lose control. It's just like lazily getting back into the swing of things.
I'm surprised there were no like beeps or anything to like, oh, like pay attention or hands on the wheel, because that was like,
yeah,
I don't know, we were really close. I feel like it would have at least wanted you to be alert.
That was scary, and I was ready, but man, okay.
Where did you want me to put a 5?
So the 1 changed that to a 5, because that's 4 more of the.
Sheesh.
But honestly, this is so far pretty good. Like,
you think?
Well, it's hard to say. That's why there's like that big asterisk of the system wasn't functioning for like a good chunk back there, which is a few moments where it could have had an issue. Now this is getting into the challenging part. This is the most challenging section of this test for sure. And I'm just, ooh, we crossed the line, cross the line again. Driver assist limited, steer manually. So that is another -1 there, and then it gave up with warning.
So do you want me to put 7?
Then 1 below that.
1 there.
So it does prompt you that it's giving up, but it's the same exact prompt as touch the steering wheel. And okay, I'm taking over. -1 again. We would have gone to the wall right there.
Okay.
And it is reducing speed in the corners. So maybe we should talk about Dream Drive Pro does now reduce some speed with cornering, but there's no way to manually or to adjust that, which our team on the I-90 Surge noticed, and they got really annoyed because they're trying to keep the speed on. You know, we have the speed limit cap at 10 miles an hour over or whatever, and the car reduces speed. Right now we're doing 55, and in these corners it's doing 45 to 50, somewhere in that realm. It just like doesn't instill confidence, which was a bit of a takeaway of my time with it on my road trips. Like on the long straights, totally great system.
Yeah.
and it does help reduce fatigue. Like, I was not fatigued on my road trips at all. I had the massaging seat, which I don't know why I don't have that turned on right now. Heated and cooled seats.
Relieve some stress right now would be
Yeah,
nice.
I might need to turn on my massaging seat to help. So we're coming up to our turnaround point right here. And will it try to take the exit? No. In fact, it almost went over the wrong lane. So, knocking out the system, taking the exit. Okay, so that was a bit of a rough initial go. I don't know what
halfway through.
I don't know what percentage of that was no system on. It wasn't a huge percentage, but like enough to be like, wow, that's really kind of a nightmare. And honestly, I know this is edge case testing, but that's kind of what we do at Out of Spec a lot, is just, you know, what if someone wanted to go from 100% to 0? Or in this case, what if someone wanted to use highway assistance on the hardest road? As I mentioned, a lot of my road trip, taking this out to Seattle and back, taking this from LA to here, was on long, straight, nice, you know, standard highways. And that's where the system really shines. It's just construction areas, or areas like we saw where it was construction, it's not construction anymore, but it hasn't yet been remapped. That's where the system's really not functioning. So, getting back on the highway now, we'll see how quickly I can re-enable the system, but my hopes are just not as high as they were when we first started. As with other cars, Lucid is great with over-the-air updates. Not every car. A lot of companies struggle with that, but Lucid actually is pretty great with pushing out new updates, improving this car over time. I'm hoping, there we go, the system's back on. I'm hoping to see this improve with some updates even further. They've already improved it some, but right here it is, you know, we're still in that treacherous extra curvy area. We'll see if it gets any worse, any better. Hands on the wheel, new speed limit detected. So things are working. We're back in action, but Lacey, your impressions?
I'm kind of scared. Like it's getting really close to the walls. It's having like sharper turns, you know, like overcorrecting itself, and it is kind of stressful.
-1, just cross the lane there.
But again,
so put minus 7 right there, basically.
Okay, 7. I don't know what it's like
Put an 8, sorry.
I don't know what it's like being the driver. You're not the one right next to the wall.
Right.
But
well, that's the thing. Is like, as a driver, it's not instilling confidence, which means as a passenger, it's probably instilling even less confidence.
Yeah.
For you.
So, I don't know. When you said, like, oh, it's kind of good, I'm like, I want to see what that is then.
Okay. We are barely hanging on here. It's just not doing enough input, and then it's overdoing input. And honestly, it did that part though, which is usually really hard for a lot of cars.
Okay.
But this is like, this goes back to my pre-mapped confusion. This is clearly also a recently changed construction area, and it's running fine. So I don't know why the pre-mapped issues on the way out. But wow, this is really, okay, I'm taking over. -1 again. It's just like, I don't know, some cars, I think most people would drive their own car through here. Like if you were driving your Aria to Grand Junction, would you trust its drive assistance, or would you just like manually drive through here because it's so...
I would just manually drive
I think most people are in that boat, which is why I know this is edge case testing. But because we want to test every system against each other, that's why we take every car on this route, the exact same route, in as close to similar conditions as possible. Temperature doesn't matter really, and this is actually really good because we have clear lighting. We didn't have any sort of sun glare into the cameras like I was worried about because of the clouds. So lighting's perfect. Like Lucid really is getting the best case scenario on this, and we've had less traffic than some other times. But I don't know, it's just, this is a case where if I was driving the Lucid through this area, which I have actually, I would just manually drive because I'm so scared of using the system right now.
I feel like even when it's like doing okay, you know, it kind of feels like you're in the car with like a friend that can't really drive. You can feel that like the car is scared almost, like, and that scares you, and that's so like good. That's why I wouldn't want to like let the car drive through this. That's just a very stressful experience.
So I don't know. The thing is, I do have hope because I feel like Lucid they've proven over and over again that their engineering is genuinely next level. I mean, seeing some of the efficiency numbers from Lucid, seeing the range numbers over 500 miles at 70 miles an hour. No one else has touched that. Their motors are so small and compact, yet so powerful. The Lucid Air Sapphire is the most insane beast. Their packaging, the size of their frunk, their trunk, the sub-trunk. There's so many, like, they have the hardware to do anything. Well, okay, highway assist unavailable in this area. So that would, -1 there. So 10, I guess.
Nice. That was crazy. Do you think it would have like brought us all the way over?
I think it
would have brought us right in the middle of that fork.
It was going to take the exit. Yeah. So we're back to no more highway assist. It shows a map icon saying we can't do that. No pre-mapping here. So I guess we'll see when we get it back. But
yeah, why is it saying unavailable in this area if it's already predetermined that this is an area that it can do it?
Hey, we're back on. I don't know. I mean, this is about the same area on the other side where we were having issues as well with the pre-mapping not working. So
is it because of the construction? Do you
that's my theory. Is like basically they're pre-mapped by, I don't know what company they use. Maybe it's internal, maybe it's outsourced, but a company will go through with like high-end sensors, cameras, LiDAR, radar, whatever, and map it. And then that data is sent to the cars so that they can better handle that area. So a car in a pre-mapped area should do really well. And so the fact that this is limited to pre-mapped and still not great, it is worrisome. But yeah. I guess back to my point, why I'm not so worried is like, I feel like the hardware is really important and they have the hardware. So now it's time for Lucid to really dial in the optimization of the hardware and taking advantage of their complex full sensor suite. I mean, almost no other cars have LiDAR, they have radar, they have the cameras, they have nice quality cameras. So it's like where I have hardware issues with other cars, Lucid has hardware nailed. So I just hope they really get to tweaking it and dialing it in, smoothing out the driver's assistance. I mean, we recently had the EQS on this road. We were very close to the line, but we haven't crossed it. EQS was a bit lazy in the lane, but it wasn't like nervous. Like the way you worded it, where it's like the car feels scared. The car feels scared, which is making me feel scared. That's a big difference, and I'm excited, honestly, like cautiously optimistic to see Lucid really dial it in and hone it in. I think they probably can. I mean, they've nailed drivetrain control, and like me and Kyle had this car sideways on skid pads. Like, it's so capable in so many ways. Charging is mostly good, but there's just like a few more ways to just further dial it in. But they're already making efforts. Recent software update, by the way, improved the sound system. That's awesome. Some cars, though, have to be taken in for a hardware change to take advantage of that. We are very close to the line, but we're not crossing it. Oh, man.
I feel great over here. I got so much.
Yeah, you have so much room over there. Which is interesting. You'd think it... Oh. Sorry, folks. You'd think if it was like... I don't know. There we go. We're back in action. You'd think if it was hogging one side of the line, it'd be the inner side, which is safer because then you're not against cars. So it just missed a very obvious speed limit sign, so I'm going to manually adjust it back up to 65. I did get the timing nailed with the adjustment knob. It's just, it takes some getting used to because the readout on the screen is not matching what your thumb's doing.
Okay, I have a question.
Yep.
If it's already a predetermined route, shouldn't it have the speed limit like coded into it? Like it knows exactly where the speed limit changes, or does the car only rely on like the cameras to detect that?
Great question. I think it is relying on cameras, but it should also be, in theory, pre-mapped along with the route. Okay. But I'm not sure, honestly. And it would be interesting, if anyone from Lucid is watching and wants to, do a podcast or a video on the system, I think we'd be super open to that because there's so much we can learn about it. And I'm just curious on honestly, from Lucid and Rivian and those who are limited to pre-mapped, like what's the reasoning? Like, I understand maybe doing hands-free only on pre-map, but then again, Tesla's doing hands-free everywhere. So is Tesla just really that far ahead in terms of taking advantage of the hardware because Tesla has even less hardware?
Yeah.
So
it seems like the benefits that you would get from having it pre-mapped like aren't being felt in this whole test.
I think that's a good point. So
but yeah, if anyone from Lucid is watching, like, shout out, I'm a big fan.
She's got your water bottle. Super rad. I have a Lucid hat. I should have worn it.
I also have a Lucid hat.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so we're going around a turn. It's a very smooth radius turn. The car is just kind of like overcorrecting and then undercorrecting, overcorrecting. Like, just, we still stayed within the lines, but it's just like ping-ponging a bit. So down here where it says placeholder,
ping pong.
Put lane uncertainty, and we're just going to do a -2 on that because it really does. Even when it's focused in the lane, even on the straight, you can tell it's doing a little bit of wavering. It's just not really into the middle of the lane. And then the next placeholder below that, that's where we should put just really bad pre-mapping. Like, we've already docked it for being limited to pre-mapping, but like it's really, I don't know, it's so inconsistent. Even where it kept finding the pre-map zone and then like went off of it again and back on and back off of it, it's just like, and even with the pre-mapping, it seems to be, like you said, limited and not really functioning as well as you would think. And okay, -1 there, and -1 again.
That didn't even seem like it would be that bad. Like, that's like,
yeah,
not that sharp of a turn.
no, I mean, it's inconsistent. I mean, some sharper turns way back in this treacherous section, it was handling.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily know what that's about.
Yeah, we weren't even around like that many cars. Like, to me, that felt like a safer part of the highway.
Yeah.
But it just kicked out for some reason.
So not entirely sure, but I mean, Lucid's not alone in that at all. We've seen lots of cars do certain turns really well and other turns not well at all. You know, back there was an exit. Lucid did not try to take the exit.
That was nice. Yeah.
Whereas the one before that, it kind of did. So not entirely sure. It just needs to be a bit more dialed. And like I said, I have a lot of hope in the system. I have confidence in their hardware. It's just not confidence in the system right now.
How come you have like Tesla doing like full self-driving, but like this is struggling with highway assist?
I think, I don't know. I'd love like a real response from Lucid and Rivian, because it's clear that like Tesla, Lucid, and Rivian seem to be the big three players that are not traditional OEMs. But Tesla is so far ahead, but also Tesla's been around for so much longer. They had autopilot before Rivian and Lucid ever even delivered cars. So it could just be a combination of Tesla having probably a much bigger team working on it, but also way more data and way more cars and way more experience. Which is why I'm excited to see where Lucid and Rivian take this. I think they're both extremely capable. They have the compute power. I mean, Lucid's new computer running this software is amazing. Using the software, it's so snappy. It's up there with the most snappiest of cars, the most responsive of cars. And Rivian Gen 2, R1S and R1T have also, they boast the crazy powerful chips. Let's see if we can do a lane change. Lane change assist unavailable. No idea why.
I mean, we were going a lot slower than the other cars, so maybe it's hard for it to determine how fast the cars are going way back there.
Yeah, let's see if it can go. Now we're back up to almost speed limit. Keep hands on wheel, lane change assist unavailable. So honestly, for the last placeholder, do inconsistent automatic lane changing. So for that, let's do -2, and for bad pre-mapping, I'd say -2. We already punished it for being pre-mapped, so it's just a bit more of an edge of just like, come on, man.
If you're gonna be pre-mapped, you might as well be a good
lane change initiated. Oh, are you gonna go? There we go. Got it.
Wait, that was kind of smooth. Like, that felt like you were doing it.
Yeah. When it works. That's just like the thing. Like, when the system works, it's awesome. So, I don't know. Guess we'll see.
Guess we'll see.
We'll see what the future is. And we'll be testing the system more in the future. I wish we were able to do this test before we got the update with the automatic lane changes and stuff, just to see how maybe it had improved from before. Mm-hmm. But this is a good benchmark before Lucid does further updates. You know, maybe they're ramping up their teams now. Like I said, Tesla maybe has a huge team and Lucid is working on that. Rivian maybe the same way. So maybe they're ramping up their teams, which means it'll be fun to take them on future Hogbacks as well. Because Rivian is also pre-map, but it also scored so highly. It did so well in this test the first time we did it. So they're clearly not all made equally. We'll see if we can do a lane change here. Yep, totally fine. Very smooth. You thought I would have done it maybe?
No, that was a little less smooth.
Okay, a little less smooth, but still pretty good.
Yeah. That was kind of sharp.
Yeah, little jerky in the corners. And then, you know, Lucid added the functionality to see other cars on the display.
Yeah, I noticed that. I didn't know if that had always been there. That's part of the most recent update?
That's pretty recent. But the flip side to that is it doesn't show anything beyond 2 lanes, or 3 lanes total, you know, 1 on each side of you. Whereas, which some systems are limited to that. You know, Tesla will show you literally the other side of the highway if it can see it. But yeah, they all have their own approaches. We'll see how far they get. But
we're coming up on the end here, right?
Yeah, we're coming up on the end. So, final thoughts. I mean, you kind of shared them along the way, but
final thoughts to somebody that's like not like a Lucid expert or a highway assist expert. I would not really use this on hogbacks, I guess. Like, that just, this car was kind of scary, especially at the beginning. We got really close to the wall like a few times. You had to take over, but I don't know, I feel like it almost forked us at that one exit. Like, it's kind of scary, but like you said, when it does work, like,
that
felt
right
nice.
Yeah.
The lane change, it was just your quality almost. So sometimes it does work, but it's inconsistent, and I'm kind of stressed. My anxiety levels went up a little bit here. But, yeah.
So here's our final exit. We'll see if it. Oh well, that's all right. We'll see if it takes the exit.
I don't know how you do it.
That's okay. You can hold it for like 5 seconds because we're almost done. But
I'm just gonna hold it like right there.
We'll see. Oh, -1 there. It's like overcorrecting to avoid the exit. That's wild. Okay, so
it's like, Lacey, stop moving. I can't see.
That's you can pull that camera down now.
Okay.
So minus. No, okay, cool.
Well.
Yeah. So put a 13 there.
Jeez.
So. Yeah, I don't know. Final thoughts. When it works, it works. It's fantastic when it works well.
Yeah.
But then it really lets you down. So.
Well, how many cars have you done this test with?
I mean, we've done like 15, 20, 25 cars.
How would you rank it out of all of those?
So one of the scarier ones, I guess. Like, it...
I hope so, because this is kind of scary.
But,
I hope all the other ones were better.
But there's been worse cars, but I
Yeah.
expected them to be bad. This is different. So my final thought, Lucid, I'm not mad, I'm disappointed.
That hits harder. So then you would rank it like bottom 5?
Not bottom 5. Like
10.
this is just like middle of the pack.
Okay, in the middle.
Yeah. And
Man, what's on the bottom?
oh, I mean, all the Korean stuff is
Okay.
rough. The EGMP products really struggle. The Onyx 6 was really terrifying.
Really?
The EV9. I mean, basically,
Yeah.
because when that turns itself off, it doesn't really tell you. Like, it gives up without warning.
You
So
know,
at least Lucid
yeah.
tells you when it can't take it anymore. And in fact, it should have done that more. Like, there was a few times where it kept trying to overcorrect, and I was like, just give me control. So.
That's fair. When doing the road trip, I honestly remember pulling onto the highway at one point, and I couldn't figure out some parts of it. It was like a month ago, I can't remember, but it was stressing me out.
But that's it. That's really it. I just wanted to end this video on here, which is not a highway, but it's a, I don't know, very, very clearly lane marked country road with no lane centering. and this would be the easiest thing ever to lane center on if you have decent hardware, which Lucid has. So Lucid, really excited to try lane centering when you can get it everywhere. Excited to try it when it's no longer pre-mapped. And excited to see where it goes. Like I said, they have the hardware, so I think they have the capabilities. We'll just see what happens in the future, but that's it. Bye.
Bye.